Hey, yo, Hitler Alexander, Hermurdu. I'm gonna do a Napoleon Total War Online multiplayer battle. This is a Sweden versus Russia battle. I command the Swedish army, and my opponent is DG Okami, or I'll just call him Okami for short. Anyways, let's look at my Swedish army. That's my general staff, and then I brought my horse component. I have 4 squadrons of these hussars, and I could have brought different cav, but these were the most affordable for my army. And I have my regular troops. I think they call them line infantry. Yes, they are called line infantry. And I put them right on the road so that it's easier for them to commute back and forth to Einstein Bagels. Alright, here are my Jaeger. And they are ready to go hunt some enemy troops down. And you can see I'm shifting some of my line infantry to my right flank here. And over here you can see I have 2 teams of these 7-pounder howitzers. And I put them here because I wasn't sure how close the enemy would be, and I was afraid that they would have unicorns. Alright, let's go look at Okami's Russian army. You can see he has 4 units of Jaeger over here. One of them is an elite unit of Jaeger. The rest are regular. Then he has 2 squadrons of these mounted riflemen. He has 1 over here and then 1 on his other flank. And what do we have here? Yes, he has what do you call these guys? The musketeers. I think he has 5 or 6 units of musketeers. And in the back he has an elite unit. These are the Moscow musketeers, and they are facing the wrong way. Maybe they're praying. And right next to his heavy infantry, he has his general staff general. And he has some more troops. He has 2 teams of, what are these? These are the 10-pounder unicorns. He has 1 here and 1 there. But you're going to see later that there was a slight mistake in his deployment of his artillery. Anyway, over here he has more horses. You can see he has 2 different squadrons of horse-drawn artillery. Those are both the 6-pounder horse artillery. He has 2 teams of those guys. And then he has some cuirassiers and dragoons. So they're going to support the advance of those horse-drawn artillery. Okay, so this map, this is the Arcole map, and this is located in Italy. And this is another Napoleon battle fought in the revolutionary stages of France. And Napoleon won this battle in 1796 against the Austrians. And the cool thing about the Battle of Arcole is that my favorite painting of Napoleon was done from this battle. And that was done in the late 1800s by the Baron Antoine-Jean Gros. In any case, I'm shifting my horses to my right flank and some of my infantry. And that is to meet his horse threat coming towards my flank here. So you can see me rushing all my hussars over here. We're going to cross this little river crossing here, and hopefully prevent any plans that my opponent is planning with with all of his horses coming down my flank here. So let's put my horses over here, and you can see just how close the Russian advanced force is. And over here I made a little mistake with my howitzers. I forgot to move them again, so they're blasting at that house at point blank. That's kind of funny. In any case, I'm going to occupy that structure with my skirmishers, and I wasn't sure where my opponent was going. He even dismounted some of his dragoons, but when I saw his horses being arrayed like that in front of me, I decided to charge with all my hussars. So this will be my little charge of my light brigade. So here comes my first set of hussars, and I'm going to meet my opponent's cuirassiers. And I spread out my charge all across this little road here. And I do want to take out those artillery pieces. And finally my infantry has occupied the building, but you can see that I didn't need to do that in the first place. But better to be safe than sorry, right? Alright, here's this little, this pretty big opening clash here between our horse components. And here comes the rest of my hussars. We're going to put the finishing touches off on these artillery pieces, and on those dragoons and cuirassiers. So the Russians actually get destroyed here, and that was the opening of this battle. And this will be a very long battle. I'm going to have to edit it heavily, because I think overall this battle would have been over 20-25 minutes long. Okay, what is this? Over on my left flank, I saw my opponent, he brought over his mounted riflemen towards my left flank, so I brought some of my skirmishers over here, but when he saw me moving my skirmishers over the side, he decided to withdraw his mounted riflemen. And he's going to take him down this road, and you can see his skirmishers are already going down this road. And you can see that these guys are going to occupy the middle ground located between my army and my opponent's main army. So they're basically going to hang out in no man's land. And I'm going to do a little time elapsed here. I'm going to cut off like 5 minutes, but I'm going to show you my army advancing on his skirmishers in the middle ground from the flank. And when he sees that, he decides to withdraw his Jaeger. But during my opponent's hasty withdrawal here, his guys are going to take a lot of casualties from my flanking fire here. So my opponent had good intentions occupying the middle ground, but he didn't support it well enough. So they're going to, I think they're going to cross that bridge and then fortify that little town way back there. And I'm going to bring up the rest of my army. And it's going to take a long time for my army to get over there, so I'm going to cut off some more minutes here. So here we go. This is like five or so minutes later. I'm getting closer to my opponent's town, and you can see I'm taking some murderous fire from his unicorns. So the only thing you can do is keep advancing. Okay, so now I'm on the bank opposite his bank, and you can see the mistake in his artillery deployment. They are right next to the bank, which is in range of my skirmishers. In any case, here is my extreme right. These are my hussars. I'm going to advance him towards the flank of that town so I can smack his guys from the other side of town. Alright, so this is my opponent withdrawing his unicorns. So as he withdraws, he is taking some shots from my skirmishers. So they're going to walk and keep on walking. And let me show you the action on the extreme left. Here I sealed off this this little crossing point so that my opponent couldn't flank me from the side. So I set up just one unit of line infantry, and I thought that would be enough to hold back any attempts he makes to cross that little river there. So he's bringing all of his mounted riflemen. So I had them deployed in line, and then I deployed them back into square when I saw his charge coming. So once my guys get into square, his horses won't have much of a chance. But there's a close-up of the Swedish uniforms. Very nice. The blue and yellow color scheme. I like it. And watch this guy fall down. Here he goes. Okay, there go his mounted riflemen. So that was the action on my left flank. And also his other mounted riflemen are going to withdraw because they don't see that crossing happening anytime soon. So there they go. And what is this? My opponent's bringing his unicorns way out here. And unfortunately, this team of unicorns don't make it. They're going to rout right here. There you go. So they're going to rout off the battlefield. So he is down to one unicorn left. And right now I'm bombarding those buildings because he decided to occupy them. And that would be my preliminary for invading his town. And you can see I've set up my artillery. Those are my howitzers. And that was the crucial part in this battle, was bringing up my howitzers. Because now that my howitzers are in range of his town, those guys are in for a bruising. So look at that nice little arrangement of Russian infantry. It looks nice, but it's easier for my artillery to do more damage when all those troops are clustered together like that. And I thought he was going to withdraw to safety, but instead he moved back just a few yards. So he's going to suffer a lot of casualties during this preliminary bombardment process. And as he withdraws behind that little church back there, or I guess that big church back there, my guys are going to spot his general staff right here. And yes, that shot killed his general. And check out the second shot right there. Boom! And look at this show-off right here. He's trying to ride his horse without actually being on it. I really hate show-offs like this. Like, not everyone's this talented. Luckily, they are being dismissed from the battlefield, so it's time to take their show on the road. Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, back to the action on the left flank. I am pushing further into my opponent's flank here, and he doesn't like that. Once I get past those mounted riflemen, he has a unicorn team right there, so he doesn't want to lose his last piece of artillery. And plus, if I went on this flank, that means I control this flank, and I control the other flank, where all my hussars are. So that will give me 3 areas from which I can launch my attack on his town. And I advanced my line infantry to attack his unicorns, and then his unicorns switched to the canister shot, as you can see. Eventually, I overpowered them. You can see in the distance right there, I have 2 sets of line infantry ready to cross in force. And I have my central force ready to cross this bridge, and I got my hussars on the right flank. But my opponent surrenders before I launch my final attack. Good game to my opponent though. Hope you all enjoyed this battle.